Welcome to Alberta Football Uncensored. I'm your host, Teej Johannesson. With me, as always, is my co-host, Omari Fraser. Today, we're doing the Calgary Gators season preview, starting with the defending national champions. But before we get going on that, Omari, quick shout out to my guy, Rory McIlroy, taking down the Masters today. Even if you're not a fan of golf, this is a monumental sport moment. This is a guy that is now in a group of 5 golfers of all time that have got the career Grand Slam. The way he won it, kind of fighting through some adversity, basically summed up the last decade for him trying to get this elusive Masters. Exciting day for me watching that. I won a little bit of money on him. So that was nice as well. Golf betting is treating me pretty good this season. Shout out to Bet365. We would love you to become a sponsor. So I'm sure we've got a lot of gambling degenerates in this league. So Bet365, reach out to us, give us some promo codes. I cashed out. I made a really smart decision. So I bet. So Justin Rose, I put $20 on Justin Rose at plus 1,400 when he was in first place after the second round, and it was $21 to win like 315. And he kind of fell out of contention, and I was like, oh, that sucks, whatever. And then he came all the way back today, got to the playoff, and when he got to the playoff with Rory McIlroy, I could ride him for 315, or I could cash out for 120. Well, I took the cash out because I figured Rory was going to win in the playoff. Took that 120, so got $100 off of that, plus won $215 on a plus 675 bet on McIlroy pre-tournament. So all in all, about a $400 win this week in golf. So I'm really excited about that smart cash out decision. Maybe we should start a podcast on betting because I've been pretty good this year. So, Omari, yeah, go ahead.
You want to hear my betting strategy? So,
of course,
I'm not really much of a gambler, but I have this thing where basically the entire NFL season I bet the minimums, right?
Okay.
Which is like 20 cents. So it's nothing crazy. I put $10 in. Let me bet 10 cents here or there, and like I just do some outrageous just crazy stuff. Just trying to figure out how this thing all comes together. Because I always see people post their there's bets and everything. I'm like, all right, these guys are putting up like easy numbers, mixing it with basketball, football, bit of hockey and whatnot. But I think this year was more of a learning year. I was just trying to learn a lot of stuff. I think I have like 380 in my bet 365 account, but I'm not gonna be here saying hey, follow my bets because I'm here betting 20 cents on you know Josh Allen to go for 3 touchdowns or more in a game. I think I did that bet and he went for 6 in that one game, so could have bet more, but I didn't. But it is what it is. But
That's
could you
disappointing,
imagine?
man. You got to put more money than 20 cents. Like, come on, take some risks in life.
I probably should. I should. Could you imagine if they had an AFL section in Bet 365 where it's just like,
Wow.
okay,
Wow.
you got all the teams up, odds, little over and
Hey,
unders.
Hey, you know what though? We could actually set that up. That wouldn't be too hard to do. Just set our own lines. Now everybody would be Pete Rose in it, just betting on their own games, right? So it'd be really interesting to kind of see how that would turn out. But we would make that legal. So okay, joining us today, Kurt Howland of the Gators, been on many times before. Really happy to have you here, Kurt, and talk about your season this year. I've got some questions for you as we move along. First one, I guess, just how you doing? How's the off season been personally and with your family, and then into the off season for the Gators?
See the table. See the table.
See at the table. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I feel like betting 10 cents, I feel like that's way more degen type shit going on. At least if you do some crazy parlay and you're actually spending money, you win something. I feel like a 10-cent parlay, you're winning like $10.
Yeah, on like plus
Pretty.
10,000 odds.
Yeah. But no, everything's been really good. Obviously, it was the first off season that we had coming back and being national champs, so it's nice not losing one and having to lick our
Yeah.
wounds and come back. And it's been good personally wise. Like family's all good, and you're a new dad. Congratulations, that's awesome.
Thank you, sir.
I'm sure very scary to start. The way she came into the world. But
Yep.
yeah, man, no, it's yeah, it's a blessing. It's tough to explain having kids until you have one, because you always hear the, oh, it'll change you, and it's like, yeah, you don't really understand it until you have them, and
Yeah.
you're the one saying just wait till you have kids, it'll change.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Yeah. It's
uh,
absolutely been a blessing. Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, no, everything's good. We've been going at it since February. I mean, not as consistent, but I mean this month of April kind of started back our regular practices, so we're full back into it. We just had a Zoom call with the defense. They were going over a bunch of their stuff. Had a Zoom call with some of our out of town guys that are going to be coming in the next couple weeks, and it's full steam ahead. Looking to do something that hasn't been done many times and try to repeat as national champs.
Yeah, and I see your national championship and league trophy behind you, looking great. I still think we need to update that league trophy because it doesn't actually look that great. But whatever, the national one looks good. Is that? Wait a second. Is that the original national trophy that maybe Travis Levitsky might have stolen?
I think this is the original one. Because there was one that looked a little more chintzy and like newer, but I wasn't a huge fan of it. But apparently, yeah, that was like a temporary one, because there is some pictures going around with like another
It's
trophy.
blue.
Yeah,
It had like blue on it.
so
Yeah.
I think they had to like make a replacement, but I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure this one behind me is the actual original.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, there was some kerfuffle kind of stuff happened a few years ago, and no one knew where the national championship trophy went, and so and then they made a new one, and it was blue, and I think it only lasted 1 year, and then they figured it out. So
I
that's
think
good.
it was based off of them in 2019, because in 18 Fort Mac won and had the trophy, and then I think Cold Lake maybe getting booted out pissed some people off in 19, and I think maybe the
Yeah,
trophy went
yeah,
missing.
yeah, yep, yeah. That's exactly what happened. I'm surprised it's still intact, so that's good. What's your so obviously you won the national championship last year, which was getting over quite the hurdle for you guys, having lost two of them by like 2 points. I think, and you probably thought this too, but I was kind of like, what's going to happen this year? Are you guys bringing people back? Is it worth it? Are guys hanging it up now? So what's your kind of team motivation been? How has it been hard to kind of get guys like returners to come back, being that you won, or are you really using the motivation of winning back to back and winning one on the road to get some of these guys back? What's that kind of been like for you guys?
Yeah, honestly, bringing the team back, there was never, even with me, it was like, we're bringing the team back. I mean, I was coming off of an ACL injury. So for me, I was like, let's just see how I feel. I didn't really have any expectations other than to get the team back and like hopefully be able to rehab my knee and see how I made it through a season. And I think obviously like we did what we did, and as the season kind of ended, I feel like some guys that you would expect, like, all right, this is a one and done maybe for this guy, and it was like there was buy-in. Like the whole offense was like, there was not a really a question. I don't really think there's anybody I can think of that I've had to like talk into coming back, I guess. um some of our out of town guys, like our imports, have moved on. Like some of them signed pro contracts in Europe, which was kind of the goal, because I feel like the guys that wanted to move on and play professionally, they came here, got film, and we helped facilitate that. And yeah, I think the only guy that maybe isn't was maybe one of the most deserving. He's about to have a baby, so I think like him being able to go to Europe in the middle of his girlfriend being pregnant is really the only reason he's not going. But yeah, when it comes to the veterans, there's some guys that have like 2 3 year plans where I'm just like 1 year at a time. Oren's talking like, oh well, I got to play till I'm 40. He's not gonna be 40 this year. So
Try to do the LeBron thing.
yeah, and I think the motivation was, and I think I maybe talked about it with Mike. I call him Cush. I'm not calling him Couche. I think that's lame. He's Mike Cush. But I think talking with him, we kind of talked about, right now it was a huge weight off of our shoulders, but I feel like now we look at it, we're just in a big sea of a bunch of teams that have won one national championship, and I kind of feel like Um, now our motivation is like, hey, like let's actually like put a stamp on this isn't a fluke, like how good we are and how far we've come, and say like let's go win a back to back. Because you start looking through, and I think maybe one of the teams out east won back to back. I know the Transit won back to back. I don't think the Wolfpack ever won one back to back. I think one of the old teams like Tri-City, something like that. So
Sault Ste.
you
Marie.
so yeah, maybe the
Yeah.
town. So you're kind of in like a 2 to 3 team, upper tier echelon of teams that have ever done it, and like that's kind of our motivation now. Obviously, we've got the AFL to worry about and take care of business, because anytime we've ever won the AFL came back full steam ahead. Like, hey, we need to step our game up. In
Mm-hmm.
15, it was the Bucks with you, Teej, and Fort Mac stepping up, and after we won it in 15, and then um, win it in 17. Obviously, we weren't around after that, but like that Bucks and Fort Mac team in 2018. I feel like every year we've won, the league's taken a step up. So we're expecting that, but we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I mean, the lofty goal is back to back national championships, and I think that's what's motivating a lot of guys. But
Yeah.
we've got a lot of work to do.
What are you guys looking at? Like I know it's early and half these teams decide to stay quiet on social media and not post their thing, but what are you looking at this year? We kind of talked about this in the last podcast with Gabe, how we think this year probably on paper should be a lot more competitive than maybe it was last year, a little more parity with teams around. Edmonton with new ownership and Leduc coming in. So who are you kind of looking at as you look at the league as being kind of your biggest competition moving into this year?
Well, one thing I want to address, because it's always frustrated me, like I think it does for you guys on like a media side of things, is like teams like being completely quiet, and I've always said this, like, could you imagine if like any professional like NFL, I know we're far from the NFL, but imagine an NFL team being like, well, you know what, we're gonna just be quiet, we're not gonna announce signings. And you just find out when you show up to the games like who's playing for us. So it does nothing for the team, it does nothing for the league. Like, I'm not a fan. I like to say, hey, here's our film, let the best man win. Whether
Mm-hmm.
the players, the coaches, it's the preparation, because I enjoy that stuff. So for me, it's like the most prepared team with all of the uh, possibilities and assets they have at their disposal should be the reason why teams win. Not like let's keep quiet our quarterback and this and that. I've never been a fan of it. I mean, we're very upfront. We post our signings. We have our roster that we put up well before the season that'll have everybody that's committed to us to play. And at the end of the day, I think me and Don Nelson did a thing. I think we were looking at all of our social medias and our interactions. We had like over 300,000 views since we
Wow.
started the team back up. And it's like, why would you not want that for the league and your
Mm-hmm.
team? It just doesn't make sense to me. But yeah, like looking at the teams, obviously Cold Lake, like, they're the obvious choice of who you would expect to want to come back. And not only that they want to beat us because we kind of took away their kind of reign that they've had on the AFL. Obviously, bringing over some guys from them, I think, is kind of pissed them off as well, which is fine. But like I think that gives them a little added motivation. Um, and then yeah, I mean, I honestly think Airdrie. I don't know what the quarterback situation is, but you get um, that Vardo number 2, and I don't know his name, but number 0, I think. Like
Again,
three good receivers, and if you got a quarterback, I mean, you put those 3 receivers on our team last year. I mean, that's putting up numbers. Like that's a good receiving core. So O-line makes a big factor because obviously quarterback's on his back, he's not going to make a ton of plays. But I think if Anton and you guys can get some pieces in the right places, I mean, I think you guys have an opportunity to make some noise. And then, again, Edmonton stays quiet. I thought maybe that would change a little bit um, with the new ownership, and I do like Zach. But yeah, I honestly feel like they might even be more quiet than they were last year, to be completely honest. Like I haven't
yeah,
seen anything, which
no,
worries me more on the side of I just hope at the end of the day, I hope they're getting things together and they're going to have a good competitive team.
Hmm.
You know, like we just, you just, I always worry with some of these teams that, you wonder, is it more of them, like, are they going to even field the team? I don't know that I'd necessarily worry about that with Edmonton, but yeah. So, and then Leduc, we got at the end of the year. We'll see what they do. I know you guys got a big one. I've already been telling everybody. Josh Williams comes into Airdrie and beats you guys. Anton's going to have a hell of a speech after that game to keep you guys motivated. So
Wow.
that's a big one.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
Yeah, I think, I mean, that's going to be really interesting for me to kind of see that as my first game with the Irish. I'll say, by the sounds of it, we've got some decent guys that are looking decent, pretty good for quarterback. We got Memphis, who came from the Calgary Wolfpack, who I've heard some good things about. And we've got a couple other guys as well. But the thing that I'm most excited about, and I kind of spoke about this on the last podcast, is the coaching. And so we actually have some seriously elite coaches, and specifically guys that know how to coach quarterback. And I think that is huge. Like you said, I think with the weapons that we have, our quarterback doesn't need to be spectacular. He just needs to understand what's going on and how to make those reads and put the throws where they need to be. So I'm looking forward to getting out there with them for the first time. I know there was some talk of possibly doing a joint practice with you guys. Anton had mentioned that to me. You had mentioned that to me. I don't know if that's happening. I haven't heard anything more of that. I would personally love that. I think it would be a lot of fun. But if not, then I won't get out there until we get outdoors, which I believe will be early May. But I'm looking forward to just kind of seeing what we're like. And I had a good conversation with the offensive coordinator the other night for about half an hour, just kind of introducing myself to him and letting him know kind of what my skill set is and what he can kind of do as far as using me. So that was really productive. I'm hoping that we can, be there in the finals and have it be an Airdrie and Gators final. I think that would be a lot of fun. I think that would be a lot of fun for the league and for the town of Airdrie and for the Gators as well. So I'm hoping to get back to that championship game. I miss playing in that. I miss, being a part of that experience of playing in the championship, especially since we did it for so many years there. 2016 with the Bucks, 2018 with the Bucks, 2019 with the Bucks, 2021 with the Bucks. So we only won one of those, but just playing in those games, I want to get back to. So, Omari, got anything for Kurt?
Yeah, I wanted to dive into now, I guess some of the management side of things. Like, guys were always looking at the Gators and everything, and like how you guys came in so hot, and then as well, like, there's the team side of how things ran, which I think we all know the story of, but as well, like, look on the back end side of things, and like just really trying to get an understanding of where you guys are able to pick up so fast and basically jump the gun of a lot of teams that haven't maybe seen move the needle. Yet you guys were able to come in, move the needle, continue to move the needle, and like are always staying a step ahead. Um, is there anything on the back end team management side that you feel like you guys do as the Gators that you love to see teams do and maybe help them move further along? Because it does take two sides to really move a team forward to that goal. And the Gators, when you look at Gators, like, they're doing both things right to see things come together.
Yeah, well, one of those things is kind of like what Teach talked about, like a joint practice. Like I've reached out to the Irish. Omari, I've talked with you.
Mm-hmm.
We're hoping to do a scrimmage with the Bucks. We've talked about it, and I'm like, listen, we have field time. We have the bubble at Shoaldice booked for full field. I got to worry about the weather because right now everybody's like, oh, well, it's 10 degrees out. Go out on a grass field right now. They're hard as a rock. The grass is nasty. Like, it's not good conditions. We have perfect conditions to practice in a bubble. And I said, like, we're not at the stage right now to be going out and like trying to kill each other. That's not what we're trying to do. Like, we're trying to make ourselves better by, hey, like, let's practice together, let's run, let's go through warm-ups, let's do inside runs, skelly, like we would in a normal practice. We go thud unless we're in full contact situations, which I would prefer to be done with just our team, because I can control much more like the way our team practices against each other than like if we went a full contact, like some type of like hitting drill against
Mm-hmm.
the team. They're going to want to try to take each other out. And I kind of presented it to Anton and a couple guys of like, let's have some good practices. And then, you know, like if we wanted to have some full contact sessions like down the road, we could. But realistically, I just want to get some skelly in against another team. And then at the same time, I feel like some teams can look and see how we operate and say, hey, we can use that. And I feel like we could, with the Irish, especially with the coaches you guys have, I feel like we could look at you guys and learn some things of the way Anton runs things. We don't play each other till week 5 or 6. We're not gonna. That's what I'm always saying. Like, we're gonna have enough film on each other. It doesn't matter at the end of the day. We're
Yeah.
gonna make each other better. It is frustrating that that you know teams don't want to do that, but you know it is what it is. And I think, like, going back to your question, like, I feel like us being willing to do what it takes to you know get every advantage competitively is why we're as good as we are. And like some teams aren't willing to do that. And I don't mean by like, oh, like skirting the rules or anything. This is like stuff like having a joint practice, like putting the work in. Like our board members work freaking hard, man. Like wives of the people on the team. Like we have people that don't have any affiliation with the team whatsoever. They're friends of people that play on the team that are on our board. And they put a ton of work in. And you know, I don't think there's any secret sauce to it. I think it's just the work you're willing to put in, and you know the chances that you're willing to take. Like I just look at some of these teams and I feel like sometimes the pride gets in the way of like they don't want to work with us or they want to do it differently. Like they don't. I don't know what it is. It's frustrating because I think that is part of what is kind of stunning the growth of the league. And you know, like I tried my best. I mean, I think we're as a team kind of showing, you know, at least one blueprint of how you can be successful and very quickly. Like obviously, this wasn't all like doing it, you know, where we had a bit of a blueprint already because we've done it before. So like obviously if you come in without any idea of how to run a team, it's a little harder. But I don't know. It's frustrating and perplexing to me because it's something that I wish if a team came to me with that type of plan and idea, and like I would jump at it. And if another team has a good idea and I see it and like Cold Lake is doing something that I think would benefit us, I'd have no shame in saying, "Hey, they have a good idea. Let's do that." Like I don't understand why teams were willing to like, you know, you know, chop off one foot just to like spite the other. It never made sense to me. It's something that's been going on since I've been in Canada, and it is what it is. It's nothing I can do about it.
Yeah.
And that's one thing too, because I can speak for the Wolfpack side where I know you brought the idea to me, and I was like, yeah, like I love it, it's gonna be good. And then I know a lot of the captains were gun ho for it. They knew there's gonna be some like difficult like matchups ahead. They're like, hey, like we're gonna get our ass beat. Like I think all the captains were like, hey, we need this. I know that there's some decisions that didn't allow it to move forward, but I was definitely one forward. And the other question I got, because I know I shared this idea with you after the last flag game last week, but how much plasma do you have in your body still? Did you take up on that plasma drive?
No, actually, Oren did reach out though. Apparently, he hasn't heard anything back, but
I
that
can,
was a good idea.
yeah.
That was a good idea. You might
So
want to elaborate on that because it's really fucking
it was let me spur you think like what's this? But I guess I'll let the cat in the bag. But again, I guess rather than be a gatekeeper, but I guess for those teams watching, like there's a company here in Calgary called Grifols. You've probably seen like popular blood drives and everything, but um, for those who are more biologically or knowledge based, you know that in our blood there's plasma, and plasma you can actually donate your plasma and get paid for it. So one idea that I know Wolfpack, I have a poster made up. I'm just about to release it, and I shared this idea with Kurt is now where you can go as a player, donate, and Grifols will then basically pay the team or pay the team or you as e-transfer $100. I think they have a bonus right now for $100, but typically it's around 60 to 100, and they'll pay you just for donating plasma, right? Which is already in you, and you do regenerate it. So it's not like a case where you donate it and then don't get it back. Like you do regenerate it, but it's one of those things where like, hey, you just give your time and you can give it to the team, and is not coming out of your wallet, it's more or less your body. So think of it like a sperm bank, but for Canada, so plasma bank.
So wait, can you hold on a second? Couple questions here. One, it sounds like how do they get it out of you? Is this like pain? This seems
It's
like it's
like doing
painful.
blood. I'm pretty sure it's like drawing blood,
Yeah,
isn't it?
it's doing blood.
It's
So
Process.
it's an extra machine. So basically, you're hooked up, the blood's coming out, and it goes to a machine that basically spins your blood to get the plasma out, and then another tube puts it back into you, and there's no pain side of it.
See, you
I
got Teej. You
yeah.
guys were so stupid all along, donating all that blood for free when you could have been
Well,
making bank.
that is actually very true. And honestly, what we should do, Omari, let's get the sponsorship with Bet365 and then have the payment sent to our accounts so we can bet it, so we can donate our plasma. Now, the other thing that I'd argue is like I'm a pretty healthy guy. I don't eat gluten. I don't eat a lot of sugar. Can I get paid more? Is my plasma worth more because I don't put a lot of shit or toxins into my body?
I don't know. That's up to them when it comes to the whole eligibility side, because you have to go and ask a few questions of like, I think the last time you smoked, last time you drank, there's a few things you have to like
I think it
qualify
does. Yeah,
for.
I think it does make a difference because there is like certain standards. So the healthier you are, I'm assuming, the better your
Huh.
plasma
Yeah.
would be.
So how often can I donate? Like, can I make a full-time job out of donating plasma and then turning that into my Bet365? Like, this could be something. I don't know,
Potentially,
maybe.
like I'll have to like maybe when we edit this, I'll put the poster of like the compensation guidelines of what it was. But I think like in the
That's
beginning you can
funny.
get like the first two donations could be like $100 and it goes to 80, and then like you get paid per like how many liters you donate or milliliters.
Let's talk to Vince, actually. Here's what we'll do. We'll talk to Vince, see if we can get it donated to the league for a new trophy. I don't know. Let's get that.
Talk about
There's different ways.
blood, sweat, and plasma goes in and build the AFL.
Exactly. All right, that was a little off topic, but that's very interesting. Keep
But
going,
I don't know,
Omari.
it's like to tie it back in. That's an idea that I was formulating up and like made for the Wolfpack, and then just at a flag game, I was telling Kurt like, "Hey, this is what we're gonna roll out. It's a good way to then get extra income from not so much for like comes from guys' wages and wallets. It's like, hey, do your time. It's a good community thing. Checks off a lot of boxes when it comes to like team community and as well financially. 'Cause that's always a thing now. Like I think we looked at the budget for Wolfpack, and like buses now are like costing what 10 grand a trip, which is kind of ridiculous. We're trying to offset that
Where
at
the
the
hell
same
are you
time.
going?
Well, I think Wolfpack have the two far games, Grand Prairie and Cold Lake.
Oh, for 2 games, you're saying? Okay.
Yeah, so that's now the
Oh.
thing where it's a big chunk of the budget, which you prepare for, but you're just like, wow, I didn't think a bus would cost that much. But then they just increase over time. So that's
It's
from
not
what
cheap.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
not cheap. So if we can get plasma
Well,
on that bus, we're good to go.
we did our budget. Actually, I finalized our budget today because we just got our quote back for our bus trip to Grand Prairie, and our budget this year is just under $40,000.
Yeah, that's
Mm.
So
nuts.
it's not, like everybody thinks, oh gosh, it's a recreational league. It's like, well, it's not. It's expensive to run this recreational league if that's what you think it is. Like it's not cheap. I mean, I know like a huge part of our budget has gone into, like some of the players last year, like they didn't like practicing at the grass field we practice at. So now we're going to be practicing at shoulder ice and practicing on the turf all year. Well, it costs a lot of money to do that. So, it's, yeah, that is one thing that I've always said. Like one thing with the Gators we've always been blessed with is having a large roster and like guys that are committed and like understand the costs of running a team and have always been willing to help out and like pay their way and take care of that. But like, man, some of these teams you got 25 guys and you got half that money coming. Like that's I don't envy people running teams with smaller rosters. It's you got to get creative with how you're going to be able to pay for everything. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think practicing on turf's a really good thing. I'm hoping it seems like they're close to being able to get the new turf field and energy there for our practices. So I hate practicing on grass, especially when we don't play on it anymore. Like we have no grass fields left in our league anymore. We used to have a couple with Lloyd and Airdrie, but and Grand Prairie. We used to have actually half our fields were grass, but now it's all turf. So that's good that you guys are doing that. I think that'd be beneficial to you guys as well. I think it's just seeing the lines and the spacing. I think helps a lot.
That's honestly the biggest thing is like even last year walkthroughs before games. We would rent the turf just to be able to get the proper spacing and be
Yeah.
bottom top numbers wherever we needed to be. We're playing a scrimmage game on grass, but it's a pretty cool. I think I talked to you a little bit about
The
it
Canmore.
in
Yeah.
Canmore. Yeah, like the backdrop is literally like you're in the mountains. Like
Yeah.
it's a pretty sick. And like a lot of it's kind of like our main camp, and then having a scrimmage right after, and a lot of our out of town guys, that's their first experience really of Alberta. So it's like,
Yeah,
it
that's
was
awesome.
something that I thought would be cool. Now again, that's another thing where it's like, we're trying to, the Bucks were supposed to play there, but then they were worried about having the numbers to make that trip out, and I tried to convince them, like, make a weekend of it. Like, it's play a football game, stay at a hotel in Canmore or Banff, and go with the family. But and then I brought the same to Airdrie and to Calgary, and I'm like, man, it's a freaking no brainer. Like, I even said, I was like, it doesn't even really have to be a scrimmage. We could just hold a joint practice out there
Hmm.
and do it that way if that's the way you want to do it. And like, we're kind of turning it into like a team weekend where we're gonna get Airbnbs or hotels and stay out there and show the new guys like Lake Louise, and maybe try to do a golf around a golf or something with the team. Like, I don't know. I mean, like, you saw how we were like off the field. We did a lot of team events, and I think that was a huge part of why our team got so close. So I don't know. It's another thing that I'm hoping one of these teams, you guys, one of you guys will step up and want to do it. I mean, we're gonna do a controlled inter squad scrimmage if not, but I just thought it would be a cool, and like the marketing for the league, having a freaking game, like our photographer out there taking pictures of like us versus
Yeah.
the Irish with the freaking mountains in the background. That's what Alberta is about. So like the Alberta
Yeah.
Football League, I just thought it was a really good opportunity, and it just, unfortunately with the Bucks not being able to, and it just doesn't seem like I'm getting a ton of traction with any other teams, but we still got time, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to do it. I know I was still weighing my decision when the Bucks brought that across our WhatsApp group, and a lot of guys just couldn't make it. And I think maybe if I think setting up something like that and making it kind of like a yearly tradition would be really cool. Like, I know when we played our exhibition game last year, I thought that was awesome. Like, I knew, obviously we knew you guys were going to be good, and we knew we weren't going to be very good. But for me, I was like, going into playing quarterback, like what a great experience, first time doing this to go against you guys. And that really helped my comfort level. And I thought that was a great thing. And I think doing it in Canmore would just, I mean, it obviously you'd have to figure it out with expenses and stuff. But if you're going with an entire group of people, you can make it pretty cheap with carpooling and staying in the same places. So I think that would be neat to do. And I'll be interested in seeing those pictures and stuff from when you guys go. When you guys go doing that again? May 10th?
May 10th, yeah.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I mean, really, from Calgary, like from the west side of Calgary, what is it, 45, 50 minutes?
Yeah, 45 minutes. Yeah.
It's like, it's not very far. So I don't know. We'll see. Like I said, there's still time. I'd like to have one more talk with Anton and maybe see where his head's at. But
Would Would you think the Colts would be entertained in that? Because
I've
they're the other
talked to
team.
Dan Craig. I do know they're going to be in spring camp, so I think they have some stuff. They're convinced. I love DC, and like I hope everything works out and he keeps kind of turning the Colts around and going on an upward trajectory. But he's convinced that it will turn into, oh, there'll be fights, there'll be this. I only saw film of the Airdrie Colts scrimmage last year, but apparently there was some chippiness there. But I'm just like, man, like, we're pretty mature. I know we had some guys. There's a couple guys on our team that were kind of knuckleheads last year that they didn't even make it through the season. We kicked them off the team, and it's like, I just I don't know. Like, I feel like, for one, I tried to tell Dan. I said, listen, you have a bunch of guys on our team that wouldn't let it become that. Like, we want to get good work in, and like even practicing, like you were talking to Omari. If we were practicing with you guys, I'm not like out there like, oh, I'm just gonna try to embarrass this guy, or our guys aren't going to do that. For me, if I beat a guy on a route, I have no problem going to that DB and being like, "Hey, this is what you did that makes it obvious of what you're running cut or you're running cover three. Do that." Like, I have no problem helping people. I think that's a misconception that like we're these like bully ball type guys and we just want to be assholes. And it's like, I honestly think I'm far from that. Like, I'm always willing to help people. I'm always having good conversations with the people around the league. And I feel like there's a lot of guys like that on our team. So yeah, I don't know. I know I keep going off on
Yeah.
rants here, but
No, that's what we're here for. That's what the podcast is here for. I
That's what
will
you get when you
say
get a seat at the table. Seat at the table.
I will say last year's exhibition game, King was looking to kill people, it seemed
but
like
that's
he was
if you knew King, you would know that actually King is probably the nicest person you'll ever meet off of the field. He's like a younger, crazier version of Don Nelson when it comes to being a really good person.
Yeah.
But he just has that switch where that's just the way he plays football. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? That's just how he is. But if legitimately you go talk to him before or after a game, and he's the nicest person you'll ever meet. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, that's good. That's good to hear. Well, I hope that goes well for you. And I think even if it can't happen this year, I think maybe we can get ahead of it for next year and plan it ahead of time with two teams. Because I think, again, anything to grow the league is what I'm about. And I think that would be, I think you could really do well with media and attention. Even if it's not Omari and I in the game, and even if we are, maybe we're down there and we can record a bunch of stuff and just that kind of stuff is popular with people and it resonates with people and shines our league in a good light. So I hope we can figure that out.
Well,
Yeah, go ahead.
One last thing too, because like I said, I was kind of went on a little bit of a rant, but I tried to explain to Dan Craig as well. We have like 15 Colts alumni on our team. Like Cassidy won the Wally Buono Award as a Colt. I don't think any Colt has ever won that award other than Cassidy. And it's like you don't want to take advantage of the fact that like we could have like a nice controlled scrimmage and like get some good work in and like no offense to the Irish last year, but I could promise you like those young guys would learn a lot from us of like a lot of those guys are going to be great football players when they're done with their junior career, but they're all very young and like they could learn a lot from us. And like we have a ton of experience and like they want to get where a lot of our guys have already been. So it's like it's a little frustrating. I don't know. I always wanted to scrimmage the Colts back in the day because I like when I was younger I did have that mentality. I'm like I would like to just prove to them that it's a little different when you're playing grown men. But now I look at it and I'm like, man, like let's grow the league, let's grow like our outreach and like I said, I mean, we have so many like high level guys that played for that organization. I think it would be a cool thing.
Yeah, and Anton's actually the defensive coordinator now this year, so I kind of thought they would do that again, and I was kind of hoping that would be because that would be fun for me to do that, but I guess they're not doing that again. So,
Yeah.
but Anton's a DC now. Okay, talk about some key additions you've added to the team. Is there anyone new coming in that you're really looking forward to? Obviously, Gabe's coming in, so we don't need to talk about him as we have done that already. But anyone new that we haven't really talked about coming in to your group this year that you're excited about?
Well, if I didn't say Gabe's name in this podcast, he probably would message me and be super offended. So we are. He's been great. Like he's seemed pretty locked in, and he's looking forward to getting out here. Yeah, I mean we've announced a few of them. Andre Gordon, he played for West Shore, had a really good career there, and then went and played JUCO football in the U.S. And he's a DB that's going to be coming out for us. We just announced, I think, this past week, two guys on the O line, got two guys that played for Windsor University. Really good O lineman, Zach Benson, and a really good D end, Mitch Klustra. Yeah, like our biggest thing is like, obviously we have a really good returning offensive line, but it's football is kind of won in the trenches. I think in Canadian football, an O line, a D line, and a quarterback, if you have those things, then you have a good shot at having a good football team. So,
Yeah.
adding to an already really good line and like a really good running game coming back was important for us. And yeah, so we have a few more guys that we haven't announced yet. We'll be announcing soon, but definitely we're losing quite a bit in the secondary. Like I said, a lot of those guys moving on and going to play overseas. So we're bringing in some guys in the secondary. Linebacker wise, I feel like we've lost a couple, but I feel like we're kind of staying more local. I think we wanted to give the opportunity this year too. Like we started in February, a lot of it because we're like, hey, if guys step up now in off-season workouts and show like what they're going to do and we feel like we don't need to recruit guys to bring in, like if we feel like guys are going to step up, And I feel like at the linebacker position, some of them have. I like Chris Barak. He dealt with injuries last year, but I'm really confident in what he could be for us at linebacker. Paired up obviously along guys like Don Scott and stuff. So yeah, so like we want to let these guys have a chance. I think secondary wise, some guys have definitely stepped up. Some guys, maybe have not shown as much as we would have liked. So obviously we're bringing some guys in, but yeah, no, offensively, we're not bringing in a ton. Like we bring back pretty much our entire offense. Um, so yeah, I think really mostly the O-line addition is one of our only ones. But yeah, I think in the next couple weeks we'll be doing some more announcements. But yeah, those are a few of them that we're bringing in.
I got in trouble last year because I said the weakness of your team was the secondary. I didn't say they were bad. I said they were the weakness because everybody has to have a damn weakness. Now, I got in a lot of trouble for saying that from the Gators, which is fine. Now, can we officially say that the secondary might be your weakness? That's question one, not saying they're bad, but also Isaac and Brett Mercer, those guys coming back?
Yep, they're both back.
Okay, good.
Um, I guess it's when you use the word weakness, I guess people
I know.
heard about it. If you say out of all three phases of the defense, if you had to pick a third, then the DBs. But I don't know. I feel like the thing too is that our DBs never really got tested a ton.
Yeah.
They didn't get to show as much. I feel like a guy like Chris Dublin got to show a lot more because teams had no choice in the playoffs other than to it's win or go home. So they tried to test him a little bit more, and he obviously had a great playoff run, and even Dawson, all those guys. So like at the end of the day, like I've had to go up against all those guys in practice. So for me, it was like they were not easy to get open on. So I don't know. I think that defense last year was pretty freaking good. I think that defense stood up against any defense that I've ever been a part of or played against in this league. So.
Well, I was obviously Omari and I were doing the play-by-play stuff at the national game, and it was honestly, it looked easy for you guys out there. Offensively, I was getting frustrated making that call because they just allowed Jordan Heather to pick you guys or pick them apart underneath and did not adjust whatsoever, and that was mind-boggling to me. And then on defense, you guys were just locked down. I mean, they couldn't really do anything. And then once the game was over, it looked ugly. I'm glad to hear Brett's back. Brett's a guy I care about deeply. I played a year from him and really kind of helped him out. I hope I did anyways. I'm glad to hear he's back. He's going to make some noise this year. I'm really looking forward to his trajectory and where he's at. Always good to see Alex back in the league. And did you say Dawson's coming back too?
No, he's actually he's over in Germany right now. So
okay, so that's a loss for you guys. You replaced Cam with Gabe essentially, so yeah. That's not bad.
No, and
that's pretty good.
Yeah, we'll make some more announcements. Like we have one DB that we have to wait just for whatever reason. You'll figure out why when we announce them. But then there's some guys that we're probably announcing in the next week or so, but they're very high level football players. Like our secondary is going to be pretty nasty this year for sure. And Brett, yeah, like he's a guy, one of those guys where you look and you say, hey, like young guy, super athletic, has some technique things he needs to work on, but like I think his next step in his football trajectory is going to be really good. And he's just honestly, man, like you played with him, but Brett's just such a good dude, and like
yeah,
girlfriend Haley, like they're honestly like kind of like family. My daughter loves Brett and Haley, so like we do a lot of like team stuff together, and she's always hanging out with them. So they're like anime nerds, and it's like my daughter is talking anime with players on the team, and they're like,
oh my god,
Demon Slayer. Shit.
No, that's not up my alley. We're definitely not going to talk about that. That's funny. Brett is a great guy. His girlfriend as well. So glad to hear that. Yeah. I'm glad. We've got 10 minutes to go before I got to feed the baby. So I got one more question for you before I'll let Omari kind of finish it off. how did you feel? I know you had some Gators try out for Team Canada there. I think you were a little bit perplexed maybe on some things. I think I was too, definitely. Uh, Speak about that a little bit. Like, did you kind of did any Gators end up making the team? And like, I mean, it's kind of shocking that a team as good as the Gators wouldn't have do that. What are your kind of the thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, first of all, I definitely don't want to put any slight on guys that made that team. Like that team is stacked. I was actually talking to some guys that are playing on the team, and I just laughed. I'm like, I know Jesse's trying to play up like the underdog. Like we haven't been a part of this international scene since 2011. I'm like, dude, if you don't beat every team by 50 points, something's wrong because the team they put together is pretty sick.
Yeah, yeah,
My only issue is, listen, Jordan is an amazing quarterback. I also believe that um, he's kind of more built for this type of tournament. You don't have a OC holding your hand. You're not like getting 6 months to prepare for you know what I mean? Like right now they're in training camp right now for 5 days and they're gonna go play Italy. Jordan's been calling his own plays and like doing it at a high level and super efficiently. Like if you played with Jordan, you saw the way he communicates in the huddle and we make adjustments. It's impressive, man, because like
mm-hmm.
when you're trying to do that while playing a game at a high level, it's freaking crazy. And he
Yeah,
does it so well. So I just thought that he would fit that type and like his style of play too. Like I think he would have been able to dissect teams on an American field as well. Obviously, O'Connor and Chris Merchant, like they're both freaking absolute studs. They do have a third quarterback. I don't know if he's traveling to Italy with them. I mean, at the end, again, I'm not trying to talk bad about guys. I'm sure he's a great dude, and I'm sure he's not a bad football player. But I feel like you start looking, I'm it's like Jordan's Heck Crichton year. I feel like he had more yards and touchdowns in that season than the other guy had in his entire CIS career. So like, and like Jordan didn't make the team and didn't make the last tryout because he was in a snowstorm. He literally tried to drive down from North Bay and got caught in a complete whiteout where it shut the highways down. And like their excuse was they didn't get to see him enough. And then it's like, well, one of the quarterbacks that made the team didn't even come to the tryout, and he did his BC tryout in t-shirt and shorts. Again, dude's a freaking absolute stud, but it's like be consistent if that's your choice of words. I do feel like at the end of the day, I like Jesse. I don't know that I don't feel like there was like any wrongdoing on his end. I do feel like I have messages from the guy from the elite when guys were pissed about them not playing that smoke game and
right.
commenting on the elite stuff and saying like, man, this is lame. Like not even being super disrespectful, just being like, I can't believe you guys didn't play. And clearly the guy that's running Team Canada now is the guy that was running the elite. And he's like, well, this guy is the president of the Team Canada, and like, it'd be unfortunate if I had to pass this message along. And it's just like, dude, like no offense, man. And that guy made the team. Like
I
again,
know.
that is the one part that I will talk on is he should not in any facet have like that's a roster spot that was taken away from somebody. Not a Gator.
Yeah,
That's a roster spot that was taken away from somebody deserving of that spot.
yeah,
He might be a
yeah,
practice guy and maybe he's not going to play and like maybe they are using him as just an emergency thing because he's not like an incompetent football player. But if you're trying to put the best of the best, like let's be real here. Like we had guys, and the only thing I will say is a guy like Dawson, and the reason I thought they could make the team is like some of these dudes on that team are just used to being the guy as a receiver, as this and that. They never had to go play special teams. Guys like
yeah,
Dawson and Cody and like they're freaking dogs. Like those dudes will stick their nose in and they'll freaking kill somebody on special teams because that's what they do well.
yeah,
I'm sure they have some of those because some of those fringe CFL guys that are playing Team Canada, that's probably what they did in the CFL. Like, the guys that were on the bottom of the roster, they're probably mainly special teams. But like, so I don't know. I have my feelings of it. I think it was I wasn't a super big fan. I do know they called Tyshawn before this camp because I think they lost a couple linemen and they wanted him to come out and have a shot at making it. And it's like, you want him to fly across the country and then maybe get a trip to Italy, or is he just a camp body?
yeah.
Obviously, Tyshawn decided it wasn't worth going. I don't know. I wish them the best. I think, like I said, they have a absolutely stacked roster, and like they're going to be awesome. Like I think they're going to beat Italy by a lot of points, but I just think I think in some ways they had the roster was set because even some of the tryouts that they did in Ontario, I heard some of the guys that are on the team, they're awesome football players, and I'm sure they're going to be in shape for the tournament. But apparently, those guys couldn't even make it through the practice, and they were dying and huffing and puffing, and
Yeah.
they made the team. So it's like obviously they had some guys they wanted on the team already, and then also too, it makes a lot more sense to have everybody from Ontario and out on the East Coast. So when you have to practice and do it, it's not a logistical nightmare, which I understand as well. So it
Yeah.
makes sense. Like,
Well, that's a big part of it too. I think the logistical part of it. Like I went and I didn't go try out for that team because there was no way I was going to be able to go to Ontario and then fly to Italy, like with my wife being pregnant at the time. So I didn't even go to the tryout, but I did go to the flag football tryout not too long ago, just because I was there for a tournament, anyways. And I'll find out this week if I made the final tryout. I had a really good tryout, so I hope I do, but I won't be able to attend the final trial because it's going to be in Quebec. So I just want to make it to say that I made it, but I won't actually be able to go. So, but that was kind of fun. I think I agree with you. I think Jordan should be on that team. I can't imagine a world where you've got three quarterbacks that are better than him. I mean, I've seen a lot of them in my time, and Jordan does things that are kind of unique in the way that he plays the game, the way the ball comes out of his hand. Like I haven't got to play against him for a long time. I didn't get to play against him last year because he didn't come down for our game. I had two picks against you guys, but it wasn't against him. But I remember playing against him, and just like the way he releases the ball, it slows your brain. Like you can't react quick enough. Like you think you've got space. Like as a DB, I'm like, okay, I know this hook's in front of me. If he throws this hook to the strong side of the field, I'm going to be able to pick this. All of a sudden that ball's out and it's there, and you're like, well, how the hell the fuck did that happen? So he's unique in the way that he does things, and I think he would have done well on an American field. So it's too bad to not see, because I know he cared about that deeply. All right, Omari, I'll let you finish off if you got anything. We got a couple minutes left for Kurt.
Um, I guess the only question I have left is, um, just looking at the Gators now. Preach, like, 'cause I feel like, because funny enough, I like here's a little backstory too. Like when I was finishing Colts in 2017, I was like, hey, I want to go play men's. I knew about the Wolfpack, knew about the Gators. I remember Jordan and Grant came to a Colts practice. I was like, okay, I definitely want to check out the price if I stay if I keep playing. And it was unfortunate. I think what was funny enough was there was this unfortunate Gators were ending because around that offseason time, I was actually getting an ultrasound on my shoulder to get looked at, and I believe your wife was at the clinic, Kurt, that I was going to, and she said, "Oh, my husband runs the Gators, right?" And she said, "Oh, because cool, he's looking to play a team." And she said, "Oh, unfortunately, we're wrapping up, but that could like it's just funny how like the my AFL timeline could have changed. Where if you guys were open or anything like that, like I could have been a Gator just because like how things lined up. But looking at that pre 2017 and past to now 2024 and on, what's kind of like the trajectory you have for the Gators and how you like things to transition and move on and grow?
well, I think for us, we want the team to stick around, and we obviously want to grow the team and grow the league. I plan on playing this year and like sticking around. I guess we'll see how things go. Like, my plan is probably to be my last year playing. I want to stick around and make sure the team is like we have a plan for kind of a succession plan, I guess you can call it. We just want to make sure that it's like put into the hands of somebody that is gonna, and not just someone, like a group of people that are gonna continue on. And that's why we've actually brought on like a guy like Tyshawn is on our board now, and we're looking to get some younger guys that might play beyond this season and beyond a couple seasons, and keep it going, and kind of mirror what the Bucks have done, where their founders are kind of at the owners or the main board of the team, but they don't do the every day to day thing. So like that's kind of what I want to look to do, and like be as involved as I want to be, because at the end of the day, it's like, if it's very tough if you're not playing and you're not reaping the rewards of like being on the field and like seeing all the success. It's like, it's tough to be involved in the day to day. Like the big
Yeah.
picture stuff is not as bad. That's why like I've been saying for the last year, like I'm just so appreciative, and like it's crazy how much work our board puts in. Like my wife, Oren's wife, Cassidy's wife, Donnie's wife, like they get to enjoy like being around all their friends and like our kids growing up together, but they're not on the field. So they're putting in all that work and don't really get to truly reap the rewards of the success. You know what I mean? So it's like it's been it's been really cool that way. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like I know I've had talks with you, Omari. Like my thing is like we want good guys in this league to come and help take over, because like we don't run things. It's not a dictatorship. Like we're very much open and like open to new ideas, and that's why like we would like to make sure we have some guys come on like you or anybody young in the league and be like, hey man, like we got freaking 5 sets of uniforms, we've got 40 helmets, 50 sets of shoulder pads. Like we have a ready-made team. It's not like you're just picking up the pieces of some tattered team. Like we have a really good infrastructure, and like, for we want to keep that going and make sure it ends up in the right hands. If we can't find that at the end of the day, then I'll probably stick around and be more involved than I'd like to be if I'm not playing. But I don't know. I think we're in a spot where we can eventually find the right guy. Maybe Omari will come and
Yeah. After he does his year with the Irish, he'll come back to come to the Gators.
there you go.
I love
Um,
how this has become the ending of every episode where it's just like, oh, the pull. Which way am I
don't,
going?
but
Hey,
you know
man.
what? I've had talks with you because we see each other at the bubble at Flag and stuff. Like at the end of the day, like I know if you left, it would be Daryl and Sherman have been very they've managed to go through a lot and keep the team going. I think it would be a very big death blow to the Wolfpack if you left. But and that's not what we're looking to do. But at the end of the day, like you put a lot of work into the league with the podcast and just like what you've done in general with the AFL. So it would be nice for you to be able to see the fruits of your labor, because I feel like sometimes you're doing a lot of work and you're not getting the credit you deserve, because it's not, the buy-in maybe isn't there from as many people as you need it to be. Like for me, I get a lot of credit for the Gators, but it's like, man, I have so much help. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like I have so much help with running the team that it's like I can't take all the credit for that. Like we have, and if it was just me doing it, then it probably wouldn't. I'd probably be in the same position where shit wouldn't be getting done the way I want it done, because you can only do so much, And at the end of the day, too, it's like, and I'm having a fucking blast, really, man. Like I was thinking about it earlier because I knew we were going to be on this podcast, and I was just thinking like, we've talked so much. What are we going to talk about? And I was thinking about it. I'm just like, man, like my pitch to like guys in the league, or not guys in the league, but like if as we're always recruiting. And my thing is like, if you love it, man, like you're gonna have a ton of fun playing for us. Like that's the biggest thing for me. I've already played a lot of football. I'm getting old, but like I'm still having a lot of fun. Like I'm being around all of my kids, my friends' kids growing up, and like watching them and how much they enjoy it. Our wives are enjoying it. Like, I'm still having a blast. So if this is my last year, it's definitely not. It's gonna be tough to hang it up, just because like I feel like I'm having more fun now, just because I'm in so much of more of a position of like the understanding and the knowledge to run a team. As a young
Mhm.
guy, you're still trying to figure shit out, but like being a business owner and everything like that, it's definitely become a situation where I feel like I'm much more uh my ability to do what we're doing is much higher than it was back in 2017. So it's like, having a lot of fun doing it, and but this is a league. You got to love it, because we just lost a
Yep.
DN that's not going to play this year, and I could just tell. And I actually just talked to him today, because he's like, like I just felt like I just kind of lost the passion for it, and I was like, man, honestly, like I could tell last year. It's like we don't want to bring guys in that you have to like beg to show up. It's like if you don't love it and you don't want to be here, then it's that we I got the vibe from that last year. And he's a great guy, but it's like if you don't want to be here and you don't love it, and like I'll close with, I wasn't going to talk about it a little. Well, we talked about it before, but like Jordan's not playing this year, and we've got a quarterback coming out. Like we're very lucky as a team because most teams you lose a guy like Jordan, and I gotta say a quick thing on Jordan. Jordan's one of my best friends. I love Jordan. He could tell when he had to tell me he wasn't going to play this year, you could tell it was emotional for him. And like, if I would have known that, because all along the plan was he was coming back. And like, if I would have known that we played our last game, and maybe it's not our last game, maybe next year he comes back, maybe he convinces me to come back. But if I would have known the national championship was our last game that we would have played together, I would have taken that experience in a lot different. I mean, I maybe would have spent an extra few more $1,000 at the strip club after the national championship set. But no, but like I just kind of looked at it like, man, we freaking did it. Like we're gonna freaking go back next year and do it again, and like and I just would have taken it in a lot differently if I would have known that he wasn't going to be back. And I know it hurt him a lot. Like I could tell, like he might not like me saying this, but I could tell on the phone it sounded he was getting a bit emotional, even having it to tell me that he wasn't going to be playing this year. But we're and he'll be, like the biggest thing with Jordan too is he's just one of the boys. Like you would think, oh, prima donna quarterback, like you got to like keep him happy. You got to do this. It's like, dude, Jordan cared more about hanging out with the boys and partying after the game than he did about being as good of a quarterback as he is. So like, that was what I loved the most about Jordan is like how just laid back he was and like never thought he was better than anybody and just like, but in a football aspect, the dude's fucking ridiculous as a football.
Yeah.
But we're very lucky. Like I'm not necessarily. I'm sure some people kind of know, like through the grapevine, who we have coming in. But he's a guy too who we have coming. And when it was kind of the idea that Jordan might not be coming back, it was like, well, like let's bring him in, and I just hope he loves football. Because for me, it's like I don't want to. Quarterback is probably the one position where it's like, you know what, man, like if we have to freaking cater to him a little bit, then maybe we have to because quarterback's a super important position. And like Reed is a capable guy, and I think we'd be okay with him. And I think Reed will win us some football games regardless. But Reed has played a lot of different positions. He's not necessarily just a natural quarterback. But this guy came in and like right off the bat, you could just tell like he fucking loves it, man. Like getting back around it, like you could tell he's like being around the boys again. Like you can tell he missed it. And it's just like I was happy about that because I was like, man, if we have to like bring him in and he's like not like all in on it, it's like such a big difference from Jordan because like Jordan's like the games he couldn't be there, he's fucking watching the live stream and he's like messaging me and I have text back from him of like what went right, what went wrong. And but yeah, like knowing that like our quarterback coming in this year is like he's fucking good. Like he's ridiculously good. He's like just like the level of Jordan and different style of game, but yeah, like knowing that he came in and like you could just tell he loves it and wants to be there was big for us because I'm just like, man, like I love this shit. Like I put all this work in because I love it and I don't want to have somebody that isn't bought in, especially at that position. So yeah, it's going to be different this year, but man, like I think when we do make the announcement, like Omari, you already know, I'm sure, but like when we do kind of announce our quarterback, it's going to be a bit of a like, fuck, you got to be kidding me. Like you guys, you lose the quarterback that as good as Jordan, and now like you make this announcement, but yeah.
While all the other
know
teams are struggling to get quarterbacks.
But at the end of the day, man, I don't think it's any like I don't necessarily like I'm sure we're lucky in a way, but I don't look at it all as luck. I honestly truly believe guys come out to our team and they see the level of talent on our team and they see the way we run our practices and they see the structure of our team and the way we run our social media, like every aspect of it, and they look at it and every guy that's come out that's played high level looks and is like, shit, like this is legit. Like it's not to the level of like it's a job like I had to do in university. A lot of these university guys don't want that, but they do want some structure. And they look at us and they're like, this is the best of both worlds. This isn't a 5-6 days a week commitment, but it also is structured in a way where like at the end of the day, I can be proud that I'm part of this organization.
Yeah.
And, like, I think that's been a huge selling point for us. And that's something that, like, you can't fake, you can't fabricate. It's just something that we do. And when guys come in, they can see it and they can smell it. Like, guys that have been around football can sniff out bullshit.
Yeah.
And guys that know football and the way a team should be run. So I feel like we do that. And, like, the work we've put in is why we're able to lose a guy like Jordan and bring in a guy that we're bringing in. And, it's, it's going to be a fun season, man. Like, our team is going to be tough to beat. And, like, I'm hoping everybody else, like I said, like in prior years, is stepping up, and that it's going to be a great season all around.
Yeah, I think that's that is the reason why I decided to leave the Bucks, because I wanted to be in a place where there was more structure. And I've missed that a lot over the last few years, especially having to be essentially the head coach of the team and the offensive coordinator and helping with the defense. And that was too much for me. I just wanted to be able to come play. And that's why it was really between you guys and the Irish. And I kind of explained my reasons. So I won't go into that again. But I'm looking forward to just getting back to that structure. And I think you nailed it. It's the best of both worlds. It's not that full-time commitment, but you still get the parts of football that you love. And so, I mean, that's a testament to you, Kurt. It's a testament to the Gators to get all these guys in. Obviously, you don't want to name drop this guy yet, and that's fine. Does he live in Calgary, or is this like, do you have a local guy now that can make all the games?
He's in Calgary. Reed's still going to be a big part of it. But when Jordan, because we've known a little bit, like, I knew that Jordan's schedule, we were still planning on him coming out, but it was going to be very hectic for him to be able to play. And we were kind of looking at him. We're like, you know what? At the end of the day, man, like, Reed made some big strides at the end of the season and the games he played. And, like, coming into where he was at the beginning of last year at this time to where he is now, he's light years ahead. So, like, for us, we were like, honestly, man, like, we're going to be okay with, like, we have a great run game. Reed's going to keep getting better. We're putting a ton of weapons around him. So he's still going to be a big part of it. But yeah, like, both of them are local guys. So, like, they're both going to be here. We have some schedule where, like, one guy's going to play certain situations and games. And yeah, no, I mean, we're in a good spot. Like, we're very lucky, because I truly believe, like, Reed is, again, just one of the boys. He loves being around the guys. A lot of good people on the team. I love Reed. I like hanging out with him. He could easily go and start on almost every team in this league, and he chose to stay here because he loves being part of the team. And I think he sees his potential and the weapons around him of what he can do this year as well. Because, like, Reed's going to get games, he's going to play, and I think he's going to do really well. So
Good.
How
That's great to hear.
he wears number 5, right? How tied is he to that number?
Oh my God.
I feel like
No.
he asked for that number last year pretty adamantly. So I would assume that's like
Okay.
his number. I feel like that's a high school number, because he actually played. He played for Langley back when they won, like, the national championship, I think, and he was actually a slot back. I think he actually started as a first year. Like, Reed was played in, like, Strathmore, played for, like, the Airdrie, like, spring league. Like, Reed was like, I think he was like the MVP of, like, all the rural area high school level. Like, was an absolute stud, and then goes to Langley. It's like a starter at slot back year one. I think they win a national championship like that year, the year after. And, he was wearing, like, a number in the 80s, I think, at that point. But yeah, I mean, he's a hell of a football player, man. I think Reed just had to get back into football shape last year was the thing.
Yeah, just wanted to ask that. And from the sounds of it too, like, I got the meme all set out for the social media team here. I'm sure Jordan's gonna love that. I'm sure we all love Star Wars, but you have that scene in Revenge of the Sith Wars episode 3, and it's like Grievous is like to Emperor Palpatine, like, sir, but what about Count Dooku? And then Palpatine's like, oh, I'm bringing in someone who's far younger, more powerful, and you could break it off into, like, light force lightning, and then to the highlight too, which I think would be quite funny. But no, it sounds like you guys got a well equipped in that area.
Yeah, I mean, we honestly, like, it's not like a huge secret. Like, he's been practicing with us. Who he, honestly, like, he's doing some stuff right now that we want to let him have his shine, and we have some recruiting, like, commitment stuff, edits that we want to be able to put out. So we'll announce it, but it's not like some huge secret that it is. But yes, younger, and just as decorated of a football player.
Is he? I guess. All right. Well, we'll wrap it up because I think we're getting to that point now where I know Teej's got.
Does he have brown hair?
Yeah, I gotta
game.
get running, guys. I gotta get daddy duty. So, Kurt, really appreciate you coming on again. It's always a pleasure. Really good luck this year. I'm looking forward to when we play you guys. Like you said, it's kind of 5th game of the season, so by then the film's all out there, and that's what I'm glad we get to play you there. I don't like playing the top teams early. I think not because I'm worried, but I like having film on teams. I like them having film on us because then the strategy comes into play and then the coaching comes into play. And I think that, we've got some great coaches on both the Gators, smart, intelligent minds.
Yeah,
and the Irish,
it's a cleaner game. Like,
yeah,
there's not all those early season mistakes. And, I do agree that way. But, yeah, thanks for having me on, guys. Shout out to you guys, everything you do. Shout out to anybody that I missed that's going to message me after they listen to the podcast. Love all my teammates. And just wanted to give the Airdrie keeps talking about wanting to bring a national championship to the small town and da-da-da. You guys are late to the game. We already brought a national championship.
Oh my God.
So I just want to make that clear. Everybody that's talked from Airdrie keeps talking about this small town bringing a national championship. It's like, already did that. We broke the field in for you guys. Like, one game,
God.
one national championship. Let's leave it at that.
Well, I'll tell you what. If it's Irish Gators in the final, if you guys
it's in Airdrie no matter what.
Yeah, it's in Airdrie. We have to, even if you guys are first, we got to do it in Airdrie.
We have to book our fields in advance. So our field, we actually booked the national championship at Airdrie Field if we're lucky enough to host it. So.
Oh, wow. Okay, well, there you go. So that'd be crazy. That'd be good. All right, Omari, send us out. Thanks, guys.
All right, Kurt, appreciate you coming on. I'm looking forward to things heating up. I think right now we're just shy like 45, maybe like 40, 47 days away from the season. It comes around quick, so that's one thing now. I hope everyone's in the gym, getting the workouts together, getting their vitamins in, doing your maxes, your lifts, your runs, all that stuff. You feel ready to go. Appreciate everyone tuning in. You can catch us all on Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube, anywhere you get your podcasts, audio, video, you get it both ways here too. So that's a fun thing now that, we moved to give this more entertainment value, and hopefully you guys are feeling ready for the season. So one thing Teej is going to say, I want to wrap up here next, what team we were looking at having on next, or is that still in the works?
Yeah, I think we'll probably do the Irish next. So we're gonna go in preseason ranking order, and I'm gonna rank the Gators first, and I'm gonna rank my team second. So that's the benefits of being the podcast. So I'll get a hold of Anton, and hopefully a coach, and I think that'll be a real fun one. So we'll look to do the Irish here early this week. I know we've also talked about doing some Team Canada stuff. They're off to Italy soon to play a game, so we might get some of those guys on the podcast and talk about that as well. So some cool stuff coming up. We're going to be hopefully pumping out episodes, getting these season previews in, and this Team Canada thing soon. So appreciate all the listeners listening and the comments. We see your comments when you comment for our Spotify. Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah. Kurt showing his ring. All right, motivation. Here we go. I'm going to the gym right now. All right, boys. Take care, guys.
Right. See you later.
Talk